Creating a quiz is a three-step process for Moodle 2. This is the first video in that process, and this video is going to cover how to create questions. This is a very new feature for Moodle 2. A couple of things of note. Before, if you used version 1.9, you might have done two things. One, you might have used hot potatoes. Two, you might have used exam view. Those are not options at this time for Moodle 2. In other words, you cannot import a set of questions. So you'll have to go in and create each question individually. This video will cover how to do that. Now, a very new feature for Moodle 2 is instead of creating a quiz and adding questions at that time, Moodle 2 has something called a question bank. And that question bank sits kind of on its own, apart from the quiz. This is a new feature. So let's take a look at how to use this. First thing I'm going to do is scroll down to my settings block. At the bottom of the settings block is an option called Question Bank. Now notice I'm not creating a quiz, I'm not doing anything within my actual course over here. I'm just going to work within this thing called the Question Bank. If I click this drop down arrow, it's going to give me some options. I can export questions, or I can import and export questions. At this time, we're unable to import questions. When that is updated, that will be communicated. So what we're going to focus on is questions and categories. Questions and categories. Now, if you're used to making categories and questions within Moodle 1.9, the process is not that different. Everything kind of looks the same. So that's a plus. So let's go ahead and show you how to make categories first. And as a best practice, it's always a good idea to make the category first and then go ahead and make the questions, just to keep your questions more organized. So I'm going to go ahead and click Categories. First thing I'm going to do is select the parent category. I can set it to the top or default for the class or whatever it is. So I'll just leave the default for sample Moodle course. You may want to just leave it default for whatever your course is. And I'm going to call this category, give it a name, and I'll just call this just sample category so that we have a name. Next thing I'll do is click Add Category. Okay, and notice it just has added it right here with the previous category I had, World History Quiz. One note here real quick, World History Quiz, notice it says 4. This is telling me that there are 4 questions within this category. With my sample category, I just added it so there's no questions. You can do some manipulation stuff in terms of editing and deleting and moving around right here if you should choose. Okay. So I've added the category that I want to add. You can go through and add categories every time you make a quiz, or you can do it ahead of time, however you want to do it. But just note it's a really good idea to make categories. So once I'm done doing that, I'm going to go down to where it says Questions under my question bank in my settings block. Okay. Now I already have a couple questions in here. These are those 4 questions that were in the world history thing. I want to change the category, so I have a brand new category here just to work with. No questions in it, just fresh new category. So I'm going to go up here to where it says select the category and select sample category, the one I just created. Okay. Now it's gonna. I have a clean page here. There's no questions. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do to add a new question is click Create a New Question. Now the next thing I'm going to do is select the question type that I want to make. Now there are a number of different kind of question types that are available for Moodle 2. We're just going to go ahead and take a look at some of the more basic ones that you might use. The first one being multiple choice. So to create a multiple choice question, I'm going to go here to where it says multiple choice and click that button and click Next. Next thing I'm going to do is name the question. Notice my category is already set to my sample category. I'm going to name the question. This is not what the students will see with question name. This is what you will see, so you can name this for your organization purposes. So what I'm going to do is call this just question 1. So I'll know in my sample category, I'll have my first question is just called question 1. Now question text is what the students will see. So this is where you can copy and paste if you're working from a Word document. This is where you can type in whatever the question text might be. And I'm going to call this question, let's just say, real simple. Notice you have an HTML editor, so you can add a lot of these features in here as well if you'd like. Another required field is a default mark or default grade. If you know in advance that you're going to want this question to be worth 2 points or whatever, you can change that right here and it will carry over. General feedback, this is what students will see every time they answer the question. Not get it correct or wrong, anything like that. Feel free to use this or not. You can select if you want to have more than one correct answers. For multiple choice, you can select this here. I'm going to leave this to one answer only. Shuffle choices, you usually want to do this because then that will deter cheating. Number of choices, do I want to use ABC, ABC, 1, 2, 3, Roman numerals, or you have no numbering. So this is kind of nice to give you some options here as well. Okay, so the best thing to do is to make the first choice the right answer every time. This is to make it a little easier for you so you don't have to also think, I used B, now I need to use D, then A, whatever it might be. You're going to shuffle the answers anyway, so it doesn't matter if they're all the right answer is the first choice. Okay, in this case it's Tuesday. So I'll put that answer in right there. For my grade, this is also something you have to set. This is a common mistake people make when making multiple choice questions within Moodle, is they forget to do this. You're going to give, by selecting 100%, you're telling Moodle that all of the points available, in this case it's just 1 point, but all the points available will go to this as a correct answer. One of these choices need to be selected as a correct answer. Now, if you're using more than one correct answer, you might choose 50 or whatever it might be. All right. Now, again, I can give feedback individually. So this might say Tuesday, and I might put, okay. So when the student answers this, they're going to know right away that they got it right. Now you want to go in and put your distractors. Okay. Notice I'm not giving any, they get no credit if they choose this answer as correct. Alright, so I don't have to use all these choices. I can just use 3 or 1 or 2 or whatever it is that I'd like to do. Okay. You can feel free to play around with combined feedback. I'm not going to do so at this time, go through that at this time. Now there is in Moodle something called adaptive mode, and if you select adaptive mode, that means that students can guess at an answer in a multiple choice question. What this is asking you is, when that student guesses and they get it wrong, how much do you want to deduct from that question? Say for example, it's a multiple choice question and the correct answer is B. The student answers C the first time. 33.333% will be deducted, but the student will be allowed to guess again. They can then answer A, and another 33.33, so on and so forth, will be deducted. Okay, adaptive mode is kind of for formative assessment or perhaps IEP, something along those lines. Typically, you just get the answer right or wrong. You still have to set a percentage for this. You can leave it. I would suggest just leaving it the default 33.3%. If you want to set it up to where you can offer hints, you can use that feature right there. Now, this is new for Moodle 2 with the question bank. You can tag questions so that if I wanted to, let's say this is a U.S. history class, and I was creating a final, and I wanted to pull questions from previous tests, I could look them up based on tags or something along those lines. It's a way for you to make your question bank searchable for future reference. Okay, if you want to add a tag, feel free to do so. I'm not going to in this case, but I just write week, comma, day, whatever it might be. All right, so I'm done with this question. I'm going to click Save Changes. Okay, there's my question. It's new. I know this because it's the only one I've added, but also because of this yellow highlight here. I know it's a multiple choice question type because of this icon. I know this is the name of the question. I can edit the question here. I can preview the question here, move it when I add other questions here, delete it here. It was created by Clark Kent, first and last name. Okay? That's how to add a question. In this case, a multiple choice question. Now, every other question is going to function essentially the same way, only it's going to change depending on the question type. So I'll go ahead and create a new question, and let's go ahead and add a matching question. Notice I'm doing the same thing, and notice these icons too are indicating to me what the question type it is. True, false is two little dots here, short answer, one spot to answer a question, and so on and so forth. All right, I'm going to click Next because I'm going to do a matching. And just like with my multiple choice question, the category selected, question name. In this case, I'm going to call this question. I know it's question 2 because, again, this is for me and not the students. Here's my question text. Let's just go. All right, default mark, I'm going to leave this at 1 because it's matching. I might have 3 correct answers, so I might change this to 3. Again, I can change that how I want to. Okay, now for a matching question, you have to provide at least 2 questions and 3 answers. Okay, so I'm going to put the there's the question. In this case, I could put, because I'm matching team with city, it's going to be pretty straightforward. If I wanted to do something more elaborate, I could just put a full question in here with an answer right there as well. Okay. All right. I'm just going to put now I can continue to add distractors and such, and if I wanted more blanks, I could click here and get more of those if I wanted to. Let's I'm blanking on hockey teams. That's fine. Okay. Combined responsive for overall can go right here. Here's our penalty again for adaptive mode. When I'm done, I'm just going to click Save Changes. Okay, there's our most recent question. Matching icon. All the options follow. I'm going to show you how to add one more question type, and then to keep the video brief, I'm not going to go into how to do each different question. The functions are kind of the same, and Moodle does offer directions as to how to do this, so feel free to play around with this. If you do have questions, contact Link and they can help you out with that. So let's go ahead and add one more. Here's my essay. And one note here, essay is the only kind of question that Moodle will not automatically grade for you, because obviously they can't look at a set of text and determine if it's ordered correctly or what have you. So this is the one that you will actually grade yourself. Close. I put my text here. Feedback. The essay is the easiest one to do because you're just putting in your, here's my essential question, whatever I want them to answer. Scroll on the bottom, save changes. Okay, and that's it. And this has been an introduction to how to add questions to your question bank.